What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Chris, man, here for episode number 9 of the Work Hard, Play Hard podcast. Bringing on my girl Torie Peterson, who is a social media manager for the Calgary Flames. So we're gonna talk a little bit of Calgary Flames. We're gonna talk a little bit about her upbringing. We're gonna play some trivia, some this or that, have some favorite things, and then also talk about her path of getting onto a team. She's been with this team for the past 14 years. So be with a team that long. You got to put in some work, and she has definitely done that. So I'm looking forward to talking to my girl Torie Peterson on the Work Hard, Play Hard podcast, baby. You rocking with your boy CD. Yes, indeed. While we're waiting, though, oh, wait no more. This is my girl. She's coming on. Torie Peterson, y'all. Yes, indeed. All right. All right. Hey there, how we doing?
Hey,
A long time no see. How you doing?
good. How are you? I was
I'm
just trying to get
doing.
my headphones in, but it appears
You're good. You're good. No worries. No worries at all. You know how you been? How's your family doing? It's been a long time since we caught up.
yeah. It's been good actually. Minus not making the playoffs. That's always a disappointment, but I can't complain. We played a full season of hockey basically, so
Yes.
and now I have some time off. So, how about you?
I can't complain. You know, everything's been good over here. Beautiful weather. My skin looking good. I can't complain at all. You know, it's been just a great time. Everybody's vaccinated over here, so they got their shots. So it's looking more normal and normal since we last talked, which was a while. And last time that we talked, it wasn't even possible for a full season. You still doing like, there's only one person you can go in the car and can't really travel nowhere and go to the game. Now, it's a little better now. So, but I say to you, thank you, Torie. Welcome to the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast of mine. I appreciate it. And without any further ado, we're gonna get things started. Okay. Um,
Perfect.
talk about your childhood if you can, and talk about what got you into sports and what led you to wanting a sports career in the industry.
Yeah. So I grew up in a small town in Alberta.
Yeah.
It's called Cold Lake, and I came from a hockey family. Like, for instance, my brother was supposed to be named Ethan, my younger brother. My mom was sleeping when my dad arrived at the hospital and named him Yari after Yari Curry, and didn't tell her
Wow.
until she woke up. So to
Okay.
give you an example of what kind of hockey family we are, that would be a perfect example.
Right.
I actually never played hockey growing up. I played soccer until I was in my late teens, and a variety of other sports,
Right.
but always an athletic family. My father played hockey. My brother is a Special Olympian. He has autism, so he's been involved in Special Olympics since he was a kid. So I just
Amazing.
grew up around sports. So it made sense when I got into college to look at that as an avenue to explore. I was fortunate enough to be going to school right when digital media was really starting to pick up steam in the NHL.
Right.
So the Flames only had one person running their website at the time, and it was a big task. So I had a 2 week internship with them, and then that just rolled into, hey, we need a hand. Can we hire you as a contractor after this is done? And I've been there ever since. I kind of rolled into a full time employee as soon as my degree was completed at the University of Calgary. But this has been my only adult job. So
Mm.
um, I'm very fortunate in the sense that my timeline has really rolled into social media and digital media becoming such pillars in the sports industry, particularly with hockey, and how
Right.
that's grown and evolved. But I've kind of just had a very fortunate, lucky path to where I am today.
Yeah, and then if I'm not mistaken, you've been with the Calgary Flames since 2007, so almost 14 years now.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, you when you joined the Flames, you were attending the University of Calgary, if I'm not mistaken. Were there any other colleges? Because obviously, that's homegrown for you. But were there any other colleges that you wanted to go to or wanted to pursue, or was Calgary it?
Calgary was pretty much it.
Okay.
I did look at a couple other schools that had journalism programs that are really well known in Canada. Some of them are out east in Ontario near Toronto, and then there's some in BC near Vancouver and Victoria. But Calgary has always been home. I've spent most of my life, well, most of my summers here. When I was a kid, I spent them here with some family, and then it just made sense. And obviously, it was the right path for me. No complaints.
No, not at all. Because you go there for 4 years, you graduate. I believe broadcast journalism is your degree. And like I said, you've been with the Calgary Flames ever since. What I want to know is, what did you take from the time at University of Calgary as far as maybe things that you do in your job that you apply to your job now, that I should say?
Just to start off, and this is not directly tied to the actual education component of it, but working full time evenings and weekends while going to school full time was such a learning curve for time management, which is so important in the sports industry because you have so much going on at any given time.
Right.
Uh, Being able to hone that skill over the course of my degree, and realize what it takes to actually be efficient at time management was such a life lesson that's still paying off today.
Mm-hmm.
From an educational standpoint, there were plenty of courses and professors that were really, really influential in my development as a professional. And I look
Yeah,
back and wow, like that. One of the classes is called General Studies, which sounds so broad and open ended.
it does.
But it was one of the best classes I've ever had in my life. High school, college, university. It was incredible because it was basically forcing you to develop an independent thought process
Right.
with a variety of different projects that we worked on over the course of a full year. I haven't really seen that kind of a program at any other school that I've looked at that was specific to University of Calgary, and I'm not even sure if they're doing it anymore. But looking back, that wasn't hard skills that you're learning, but again, life skills that come into play and help you become an independent thinker and a problem solver.
Right.
And those things to me are so incredibly important when you're developing a career because no matter what industry you're in, those are skills you need to
Yes.
flourish and develop.
Agreed on that. And when you started with the Flames, you didn't start out as a social media manager, if I'm not mistaken. That's what you are now.
No,
You're not there now.
no, I am that now. I didn't start at that.
Oh,
Social
okay, yeah,
media
yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
a thing.
Yeah,
when,
got you.
like Facebook was for college students.
Right.
Like I kind of came on right as social media was taking off and
Mm-hmm.
becoming a point of interest for brands where you go, should we be involved? Is this a fad? Is Twitter even going to last a year? Which now looking back sounds crazy to say, but at the start of my career, that was a huge question mark. So I
Right.
started out primarily writing and then doing a bit of back end website management with the CMS, but primarily writing. So it was again just luck of timing there that social media was taking off and we needed someone to handle it, and it was me and another guy working the website and he didn't really want to do it, so it was perfect. It gave me a chance to learn on the fly, and I'm continuing to learn as social media continues to evolve on every single
Absolutely.
day. New platforms
Absolutely.
pop up, how you use it changes, all of that sort of stuff. But that's how my role became what it is today. We never had a social media manager before me because it just didn't really exist and there was no need. And all of a sudden now we're going, this is a full-time position. Like this requires someone to completely manage this on its own outside of writing or helping produce video or whatever else may come into play. So really unique role that again, just timing lined up perfectly for me.
Absolutely, and you do an amazing job. There's no question about it. I can definitely say that. Looking at the social media of the Calgary Flames, you do such a great job. I'm gonna ask you some favorite things. So you just shoot them off, okay?
Okay.
Favorite food?
Burritos.
Wow. Favorite movie genre?
Oh, genre. Maybe comedy, but my favorite movie is not a comedy. It's Jurassic Park. So I don't know how that falls into play.
Well, I guess it could be funny when the animals start biting the folks. I mean, maybe that's funny. Maybe, a little different. Favorite music?
Um, like independent rock, alternative rock, primarily.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
What groups? What groups would you say in there?
Oh, very Canadian. The Tragically Hip are one of my all-time favorites, which I think a lot of Canadians would say. A lot of Americans won't know who they are because they never really boomed there.
This
Uh,
American would not. You are absolutely right. But I will
they
YouTube
are
that. I'll YouTube it.
they are a national treasure. So that for a lot of Canadians, they'll say the Tragically Hip. Broken Social Scene, another Canadian band.
Okay.
Uh, and the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. There you go. That's an American band.
Okay.
They've had
All right. I like it. I like it. Favorite restaurant?
Oh, for fast food, it would be Chipotle, hands down, without a question. Like we
Wow.
don't have them. We have like three of them in Canada, so they're like it's like a special occasion when I get it here. Just like we
Wow.
do
I
not
never
have
had
them.
Chipotle. I never had it.
No way.
Yeah, I never had Chipotle. Never.
I love Chipotle. It is like you know what? I'll just put that as my favorite restaurant. Complete. Like I don't even care. Like you could take me there for a fancy dinner, and I'd be like, I would like Chipotle. Please bring me a burrito.
Well, I would keep that in mind. If I'm ever in Canada, take Torie out to Chipotle. It's going to definitely make her smile. That's for sure. That's awesome. Favorite alcoholic drink?
Wine. I love wine. Red wine.
Now, are we red or white?
Oh, red all the time.
Red all the time. I like that. Red wine. I do like red wine as well. That's for sure. Favorite color?
Blue, which it goes against the, I know that goes against my job
It
being a
does.
primarily red, but blue.
Like they're red and yellow. Like they are nowhere near blue. but but that's okay. That's okay. You can like that. Two more.
Okay.
Favorite card game?
Card game. Oh my gosh. I have not played cards in forever. You know what? Poker.
Poker.
Poker. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I like that. Favorite place you ever visited?
Oh, I'm pretty lucky. I've been to, travel's a pretty big part of my life. I'm going to say Dublin, Ireland is probably my favorite place to visit.
Dublin, Ireland.
Yeah.
I like that. I've never been there. Heard great things about it. Never been there, but that's definitely on the bucket list for sure. Now, we talked about you being with the Flames for 14 years. Uh, Talk about the longevity of being with that team. Because 14 years is a long time. Some people would be like, you know what, maybe I want a new challenge. But then some people would be like, this is my dream job and I want to retire here because I love Calgary Flames. Talk about the longevity of being there.
It's been a pretty wild ride. Like we've had the opportunity to do some really cool things since I've started here. The game has grown a lot in terms of visibility, not just in the States, but globally. So there's been some opportunities. We did the NHL China games, which was amazing.
Yeah.
But the longevity aspect, I don't know, there's a new challenge every day. It feels like every season is something different. It doesn't feel routine, which I think is pretty key for most people when you're trying to develop professionally. When you get stuck in a routine for too long, it starts to become bland and boring.
Right.
But for us, it's changing every year, not just the team itself. Every team is different every season. But in terms of the workload, what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis, my role is never the same. And that's a pretty cool thing in sports that I think a lot of people could say, just because of how technology is advancing and how the games are changing in terms of how they interact with fans. Just even in-game entertainment is different every year. Things like that, how you
Yeah.
engage with your audience is different. So that's something that's really cool about being in this space and being in sports, is that there is a new challenge every year. Every year looks different. You go into it with a fresh set of eyes every season. So that's what keeps me there. I think, like, I'm like most people. If it got bland and boring, I would need to try to figure out how to alter that and get back to where I am. But I'm really lucky. Like, every year changes. It's awesome.
Now with you being the social media manager, let's say somebody wants to join your team or join a social media team for another particular team. What does a manager look for as far as qualities in joining a social media team?
The number one thing for me, and I think a lot of people that would be in my position around the league, would be finding people who fit within our little team of digital and social media staff.
Right.
You work a lot of hours during the season. You're with each other a lot in a non-pandemic year. You're spending a lot of your time together, and if you can't play well with others, then it's just almost impossible to be in that position, no matter how talented you are.
Right.
You need to get along with your coworkers. You don't need to be best friends, but you need to be able to have that camaraderie and be able to work with others and help make each other better. That's a key thing. If you can help make your teammates better, the hard skills we can teach you, those things will come. Most people will pick those things up so quickly, especially when you're immersed in the space. But that personality trait of being able to bolster your teammates is so big. And I don't think that just goes for sports. I think that's most places.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Absolutely.
if you can make your coworkers better and you can make them feel better about themselves, you're laughing. Like, this is, you're gonna fit right in. So that's my number one trait. Is I don't Everyone can have a degree or say that they run Twitter for a brand or whatever it may be, but how
Right.
you get along and how you work with other people is more important to me than those things.
And I'm glad you said that, Tori. I really am, because you're absolutely right. I mean, in the job that I do, which is not in the field, I work for a lot of it. But at the same time, it's five of us in the room. It's an all male team. There's a lot of testosterone in the room, and it can be a lot of egos in the room. And for me, I am the type of person that like to take the pulse of people in the room and really learn who they are and what they're about. I can blend in with anybody, and I'm glad you said that, because it is important when you're working on with the team, no matter what job, especially the job you have. You're working with an NHL team within a team, so you know what I'm saying. You work for the NHL team within a team. It's important to have that camaraderie, because in a normal season, it's an 82 game season. You're with each other a lot. There's 41 home games. Typically, I'm sure you work all the home games. I'm sure you probably work some road games as well. You definitely are with each other a whole lot. So it's and it's important for you to want to be around each other. Like you said, you don't have to be best friends, but you do have to have a level of respect for each other and understanding that people are different, and be able to compromise and understand that that's what really brings out the best value in a work when you're working with a team. And it's no different from the Calgary Flames, that they had that. No different from them winning the Stanley Cup. So or any team winning the Stanley Cup. I'm sure all the teammates don't like each other, but you got enough where they respect each other's play, and you go out there and do the job. So I'm happy that you said that. People should pay attention to that. Anybody that wants to do social media, they should know you got to be willing to work with a team, blend in your personality with the team. And
Absolutely.
yeah, I like that. Um, we're gonna do a little bit of this or that right now.
Okay.
Okay. So when I name something, you just tell me which one.
Okay. Ready.
Thanksgiving or Christmas?
Christmas.
Okay. Doritos, and this is Doritos, because you said that this is your favorite. So is it nacho ranch, or is it ranch cooler, or nacho cheese?
Ranch.
Like the ranch. Okay. Drive-in or theaters?
Oh my God, I don't think I've been to a drive-in since I was a kid, so I'll say theater.
Damn, it's been that long.
Like, I think I was like like E.T. was playing. I think that was
Oh,
the
okay.
last movie I saw at drive-in was E.T.
Sorry,
So
we're gonna move the hell on. Okay. E.T. Oh my gosh. Okay. Burger King or McDonald's?
McDonald's.
Got you. Burgers or tacos?
Tacos.
Got you. Baseball or basketball?
Basketball. I can't sit through a baseball game. I'm sorry. They're too long.
Can you go to one in person though?
I can, yeah. Oh, I can sit through one in person because you're with
Okay.
people, you're having some beverages, it's fun, you're having food. Basketball is like I can watch on TV.
I got you. I got you. That's awesome. That's awesome. You know, two games are coming on tonight, by the way. Now, I don't know if you're gonna watch them, but two games are coming. I'll give you this: Six Flags or Disneyland.
Disneyland. I've
Disneyland.
never been to Six Flags, but I've been to Disneyland and
What?
I quite enjoy
Oh, we got to get you to Six Flags, girl. At least one time on a bucket list, please. That's the trip right there. Okay, Popeyes or KFC?
Popeyes.
Now that's my girl. That's what I'm talking about. All right, this is the last one.
Okay.
Okay, and I want you to really think about this one. Toronto or Vancouver?
You know what? I'm gonna say Vancouver. I don't mind Toronto. I like Toronto, the city, but Vancouver on a sunny day in downtown Vancouver and
Mhm.
it's warm, it is hard to beat. It is beautiful.
Okay. I'm gonna take that into account. I've never been to Vancouver. I've been to Toronto now,
Okay.
but I've never been to Vancouver, and I plan on going back to Toronto very soon because, yeah, I really love that city. I do.
Yeah, there's no offense to Toronto. I do like the
Yeah,
city. It's
yeah.
just a sunny day in Vancouver. It is like picturesque, beautiful. You cannot beat it.
Okay, I like it. I like it, Tori. Now, the Calgary Flames as a team went 26-27 with three OTLs. I'm guessing that's overtime losses, if that's what that means.
Yeah.
Uh, Now, can you wrap up this season in your eyes and talk about what do you think they may need to get over the hump? Because they just missed the playoffs as they were doing four teams in each division.
Yeah, it was like we just missed. So there wasn't a lot of consistency in the first half of the season,
Mm-hmm.
which I know a lot of the players have echoed multiple times. Consistency, we'd win one and you would look absolutely dominant, and then you'd lose a couple, so you lose that train. And the highs were really high and the lows were really low in that first half. We did have a coaching change about mid-season,
True.
and after that, it was a little bit rough to start because you're getting used to a new system in the middle of a heated playoff battle in a shortened season.
Right.
But once that transition was made, they looked very steady. We looked very consistent. We were able to lock it down when we were up and not allow late goals. We had great goaltending down the stretch. So the pieces are there. It's easy when you're emotional right off the hop when you miss the playoffs to go, we need so many changes.
Right.
It's easy to do that, but when you start to look at the overall picture, especially down the stretch and how well we played down the stretch,
Mm-hmm.
there's some really strong pieces heading into an 82 game season. I truly believe they would have made the playoffs had this not been a 56 game season. There was just a lot of really good components to our game that would have made us a pretty strong playoff contender.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we just didn't. We ran out of time, and that's it. Sucks, but that's just the reality of it. Because the first half we were just so high and so low on ourselves all the time. So, um, looking at the main components and key pieces we have on that roster, I think they're going to be just fine.
How did you like the playoff format? Because me, I didn't like it so much. I didn't like the four teams in each division. I'm an old school guy. Listen, let's get the best eight teams in the conference. Let's roll. But I didn't like this four here, four there, four here, four there. I didn't like all that. How'd you like it?
I definitely am with you. I like the eight teams going head to head. Canada kind of screwed that up for the league because of the travel restrictions that are in place.
Right.
So and just the uncertainty of if those travel restrictions could have been changed. When you're trying to make a playoff format in January, you don't know what May is going to look like.
Yeah.
So they did the best they could with I think what they had at the time in January when they finalized that process. But I'm with you. I would much rather have the eight teams. So
Absolutely. I'm just used to that. You know, East West. Let's get the best eight teams in there. Let's go. We don't need what the NBA is doing, although I understand for the money purposes that playing tournament, that's cool, that's cute. But and then with baseball having 7 MLB teams, I mean that's just crazy. That's crazy. And then with football adding teams, I don't like all that. Let's just get 8 in there and let's roll. That's what we're supposed to do. Is what happens. So, but I like your perspective. I'm hoping that they get an 82 game season in next year. I'm hoping Canada lifts those restrictions as COVID is starting to kind of calm down a little bit because it's just terrible. I mean, with those restrictions in Canada, there's so many Canadian teams from Edmonton to Vancouver to Calgary, Toronto. All these Canadian teams are having restrictions to travel, so it's crazy. Um, what has been your favorite memory of being with the Flames?
I've got two.
Talk to me.
And so one of them is game related and one is non-game related. So we were able to, like I said, go to China they were preseason games,
Okay.
which they should be, I think, when you're traveling that far and players are going like culture shock, jet lag, and things like that. They should be preseason games, but it is really cool to go to a completely different culture that doesn't have hockey as a traditional sport and be able to expose a population to the game like that. And it was amazing to see the fan reactions in both cities. Not only did we get to do some cool touristy stuff,
Right.
which was amazing, as a person and as a content producer, we were able to get some amazing footage out of it. To see the Chinese population really embrace the game, and both games were sold out against the Bruins. We had one in Shenzhen and one in Beijing, and that was like that's a career highlight that like I don't know, not a lot of people would ever get to experience that. I'm really grateful for that.
Absolutely.
And then the second one is we have our captain has been with the team forever and a day. He's one of the oldest NHLers in the game, and he's been with the Flames his entire career. And he is I would call him a philanthropist at this point. He
Okay.
is so community oriented and always has been. Him and his wife have dedicated so much of their time and resources to charitable causes in Calgary, and now have their own charitable program that helps disadvantaged students get the resources they need to flourish with their education.
Right.
And he was nominated for an ESPY, the Muhammad Ali Humanitarian Award.
Yeah.
He won it, and so it was kind of on a last minute whim. We're like, we should probably go. Like, we should be covering this because NHLers generally aren't nominated for ESPYs. So we were kind of like, is he gonna win? Is he not? Well, how are we gonna cover this? What's the best way? And our ownership group was like, no, absolutely, you guys should go as well. So we went to LA for the ESPYs, and he did win. It was very incredible to see his work and Lauren's work be recognized on that kind of stage, and also just the experience. Like, NHLers don't really get their names called at the
Not a
ESPYs.
whole lot.
So very cool experience, and kind of one of those ones where you go, this could be a once in a lifetime given hockey's lack of profile in that space.
Yeah.
So very cool and just a really unique experience.
No, that's awesome. That's two awesome experiences right there. That's really dope. And your captain's name is
Mark Giordano.
that's right, Mark Goodenow. That's right. And no doubt for him to win that award, that had to be pretty special for him. Great things that he's doing within the community there. That's pretty awesome. And that's pretty dope. Pretty dope memory, Torie. It really is. So we're gonna test your Calgary Flames trivia.
Ooh,
How good are you?
we'll see.
We're gonna test it a little bit. This is what we call this trivia game is called Flaming Hot.
Okay.
Get the name. So the first question that I had, two players, and they get harder as they go, by the way. Two players tied for lead in scoring goals on the team this year. Who are they?
Johnny Gaudreau and Elias Lindholm. Right?
Correct.
Yes.
All right. That was a softball pick. That was softball, okay?
I was like, I hope I got that right. I
do
hope my mind wasn't.
you know, okay, for a bonus, do you know the number of goals?
Was it 19? 20?
It was 19. Yeah,
Yes.
it was. It was 19. That's true. Okay. Question number 2. Before Calgary, The Flames was called what?
The Atlanta Flames.
That's right. Correct. Correct. From the 1970s to the 80s, they were called the Atlanta Flames. That's correct. Okay. We good. We 2 for 2. All right. So the Flames went to 3 Stanley Cup finals. Name the 2 years they lost and name the year they won.
Well, they won in '89.
Correct.
They made it to the finals in '86 in Montreal and lost.
Correct.
Oh my God, when was the other final? It wasn't 1990, was it?
Nope.
No, it was not 90. 85? 84.
No.
Damn it. I'm just going to go through the 80s. 87?
It wasn't in the 80s.
Wasn't the, oh wait, 2004. Why did I was alive? I forgot that whole era. My brain just absolutely, and I was an avid fan.
I was like, what the hell, Torie? Like, you named the 80s. They went twice in the 80s, yes. But you talking about 87, 88? No, they didn't go to
the Red Mile. The Red Mile, that was peak fandom for me. I was in high school, and the Flames went to the finals, and the entire 17th Ave was filled with people all the time. Yeah. That's what we call off-season brain.
But you got it right. You did. In 04, 86 they lost. 89 they did win. This is true. Okay, the next question. This franchise is the 3rd professional hockey team to grace Calgary. Name the other 2.
Oh my God, the Cowboys were 1, were they not? The Calgary Cowboys?
Correct.
Oh my God. What was the other one? Prior to the Flames, right?
Prior to the Flames, yes.
The Cowboys. And I actually don't know the one there's one in the 70s, but I don't remember their name. I'll admit that.
Okay. So it was the Calgary Cowboys from 75 to 77, but the other one was the Calgary Tigers. They were from 1921 to 1927. It was old.
I absolutely would have not guessed that. I was going to go to Wranglers. I was just going to Western things like Wranglers, whatever it may be.
Right. No, I totally listen. I understand. Listen, I do my research here. You know what I mean? So, last question. We know Jerome, I believe, Iginla. He is the all-time goal scorer for the Flames, leading scorer. Who's second?
Is it Theo Fleury?
Correct.
I was there's the 80s had some high-scoring guys. I'm 99% sure it's Theo.
For a bonus, do you know how many goals he scored?
Jerome? It was over 500.
No. I'm talking about who's second.
Theo. He would be over 500 too, would he not?
No. I believe I have 107 goals.
Yes.
Now maybe points you're probably talking about, but goals 107. But you did well, Torie. You did great. That was awesome. That really was.
Minus the most brain dead 2004 moment ever. I can actually hear my coworkers I will never live that down now.
I was like, wait a minute. She answered the 80s correct, but she's like, what? The most recent one. I'm thinking you'll get first, but that's okay. That's all right. What is the toughest part about doing your job / being in this industry?
It's making sure it's definitely outside of the actual technical aspect of my job, but it's making sure that you carve out enough balance in your life. Yeah. It's really easy to get immersed in this job because you're so passionate about it, or you're passionate about the team or the sport, or all three, that you kind of lose touch with the outside world. And it's really easy to do, especially mid-season. So the ability to take a step back and go, okay, maybe I should just go for a walk and not think about hockey is it sounds really weird, but when you're in the middle of a season and it's just go, being able to find that balance is hard, but absolutely crucial.
I love it. I do. And you do have to kind of just escape. Find your escape. Like you said, taking a walk. Sometimes some people may be playing a video game. Sometimes it may be been watching a TV show. Sometimes it may just be working out. Different things. People need to know that when joining this industry is that you are going to have times where you do need an escape, because burnout is real and it can happen, to the best of us. And you got to find that escape for you, and just make sure that you always have an escape to go to whenever you're feeling like that. Because the hockey season starts typically when October, goes all the way till April in a normal season. Then you have playoffs in May and Stanley Cups end in June. So we're talking 8 months at least. And then preseason starts September, and stuff like that. So you're really working 75, 80% of the year in hockey. So you definitely want to be able to take that release for sure. Um, talk about uh, talk about any advice that you would give anybody that's up and coming into the industry that wants to join the team or do any kind of thing in this sports media field that you haven't advocated already about.
One of the biggest things is before you get your foot in the door somewhere, you generally have to talk to a lot of people, make
Yeah.
connections. Uh, and this isn't just with sports, but a lot of jobs are filled thanks to networking. You know someone. And it might just be a casual, oh, I know them off Twitter and I've seen their tweets. Let me go take a look. Something like that.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is networking. There's not a lot of just cold resume drops that earn jobs anymore. Just because it is hard to evaluate people just based off a piece of paper until you can get them in an interview room. But do you want to interview 200 people?
Right.
Oftentimes you just do not have the time to do that. So
Right.
you're going, well, I know this guy and I know this girl and I know her from here. Let's just talk to them and get them into the interview room. I know they're qualified, so it's easy enough to make that decision. So being able to be extroverted enough in whatever way you're most comfortable. It doesn't mean cold calling people or um, some people are great on video. They like to do podcasts like you. Like those things are great, but maybe
Yeah.
you're more of a LinkedIn person. So send some notes on LinkedIn or follow people on Twitter. It can be as simple as commenting on people in the industry's tweets. Your name, you don't know who's going to see it. Like it's not everything is, you don't do everything just to get a job. It's also to give you some experience and showcase people in the industry and how they work. But then it gets your name out there is the other benefit, and you could be having conversations with people who may be hiring in a month. You never know, especially this year. I just think there's going to be so many rules popping up in the fall in sports media and
Yeah.
social media,
Yeah.
just because of how the last year has gone with the pandemic. A lot of rules were either furloughed or teams cut back or people left for better positions, right? They needed something that worked better for their family and themselves. And so once seasons start going full swing again, especially in the fall, I think, and you're already seeing it with baseball. I've seen a ton of baseball postings already, filling roles that were already there that people probably just left because they needed something a little bit more stable during a pandemic.
Right.
So you don't know who you're interacting with and if they're going to be hiring in a month. Chances are most organizations are. So it's just about being able to get yourself out there in an organic way that you're comfortable with. Don't force it because people can tell when you force it. But
Yes.
go out there and just find a way that you're comfortable to make those connections.
Absolutely. And with me naturally being an extrovert, I'm somebody who loves people, loves talking to people, especially people like yourself that make me smile when I talk to them. And just all kinds of people out there in the industry because they share such great advice, and they share such great wisdom. A lot of people that come into the industry, you know, they want to be this, they want to be that, and you can be different roles. You can be different roles in this industry. You don't have to just talk to people to try to get them a job, like you said. It's great to just connect to people's brains, because those people might not do the hiring, but they may know of someone who does, and they may keep it in the back of their mind if you are just able to connect with them and have a genuine conversation with them. Because you never just want to roll up on people when you want something or need something, because that's not genuine. And I love everything that you said about that, and that's for sure. And yeah, that is pretty much the end of the podcast, Tori. It was
Thanks for having me.
always great talking to you. You know what I mean? I love talking to you, but uh, where can people find you? Where can people find you on your Twitter, your Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever social media sites that you got? Where can they find
I'm a bit of a delinquent with LinkedIn. I'll admit that. I check it like once every 3 weeks or something.
you? Right.
So not LinkedIn, but I'm on Twitter every day, and it's
Right.
just my name, Torie Peterson. I got in early enough to just get my name, thankfully. And same with Instagram, just Torie Peterson. I'm on both of those every day. So, and my DMs are always open, and I do check them. So, if people have questions or just want to chat or whatever it may be, like those are always open. Just not
Absolutely.
LinkedIn.
Absolutely. I can attest to that. The DMs are definitely always open because I definitely shoot her messages all the time and we talk all the time to stay in touch. Well, like I said, Tori, I normally end it this way. Is there anything else that you would like to add before we conclude?
No, just that I hope that everyone is like we talked about is starting to get a little bit back to normal. So I'm just ready for a normal season. That's that, and I hope everyone can like that's all I want for people is just to get back to whatever normal they have or they're looking
Right,
for. That's
right.
all I want. And I'm just really looking forward to a normal season and a normal off season at a normal time. So,
Absolutely, absolutely. And well, I got to say this. I talked to Alana Nolan,
mhm.
and she told me to tell you hello. Yes, because I know she also works within the Calgary Flames, and I'm connected with her as well. So yes, and I'm looking forward to having her on and doing this as well with her. But yeah, no doubt, I appreciate all the advice, the trivia, the this or that. You were the best one that's done the trivia so far on the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. Everybody else has just absolutely just sucked. So
Well,
it was terrible. It
I'm,
was.
it's gonna nag at me that I missed 2004 off the hop. Just so you know. No matter how well I did, that one is gonna bug me.
Well, listen, we can't take that back because that's recorded. That's on live. But eventually you got it, baby. You got it. And that's all
I
that
got it.
matters. So listen, you enjoy the rest of your Monday evening. Thank you so much, Tori, for joining me on the podcast. Don't be a stranger, and we will be in touch. You take care.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Chris.
No problem. You take care.
Bye.
Bye.